All right, we're joined by Christian Fauria. Christian, let's get right to it. Mike Vrabel gets his first win in the Mike Vrabel era. How nice is that for him to get it down there in Miami where the Patriots traditionally don't play well?
Yeah, nothing like it. I can say as a former player, the first thing you're doing is, you get your first sack, you get your first touchdown, you make sure you get that ball. I mean, it's somewhere, it'll probably be in a bin somewhere until you retire. Then you make sure you display it so everyone can see it. And same for as a head coach. I mean, it's special, it's unique. It's once in a lifetime type of opportunity. There's not a lot of head coaching jobs in pro football out there. So for him to get him for a team that he used to play with, it's got to be important. I'm sure Kraft was in there when the game was over, right? And was talking to him, congratulating him. And I thought that was a huge accomplishment for him.
Yeah, it's cool. So Drake kneels down, runs over, gives him the ball, and then Robert Kraft gives him the ball, the game ball in the locker room too. So good for him. All right, the other part of that are the Vrabel Rules, which I like to look at and talk about different things. And one of them is, there's all kinds of things. Win the second half, I thought was big. They finally did that this week. And the other one too, Christian, what do you think of this? Build an identity around effort. I think that maybe talks a lot about this kind of game.
Yeah, and I think if for Mike Vrabel, knowing him, playing with him as a teammate, I think he really wants to, when other teams come to play New England, he wants them to know and dread it. He wants them to know that they're in for 60 minutes of hardcore football, like regardless of what the situation is, regardless of what the circumstances are. I think he wants that to be known about his team. Hey, you come play the Patriots, you're going to get a full 60 from us, right? There's not going to be we're not going to be giving up any ground, or we're not going to be giving in at all. And I think that's the type of identity that you get by playing with effort.
Yeah, overcoming penalties, that's for sure. Another part of this whole thing, the little parts of football, which I love, the details. You kind of talked about it in our fifth quarter postgame show. For instance, the kickoff return right back at him by Antonio Gibson. One little move kind of set that whole thing up by the veteran.
I thought his jump cut, going from his left to his right and finding that little crease, I think it was just really impressive. Just talks about his vision. But more importantly, because that's the first step, right? More importantly is I didn't think he was that fast. I didn't think he had, I know he had burst, but I didn't think he had breakaway speed where he can literally pull away from the defender. And that's what he did. So he's absolutely a weapon in the special teams. And that's when we always talk about, all three phases, right? All three phases chipped in at some point in time in this game.
He was upset with himself the beginning of the season, did not like the way he came into shape last year, worked on that extremely hard, and then the offseason too. So good for him. And then another foot, stepping out of bounds. HN, what a difference. 1st and 10 on the New England 44 with 1:15 to go. They're coming right down. You're like, uh-oh, looks like he's got a touchdown, but doesn't.
This is one of those things where sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because he was almost maybe an inch because he's jump cutting from his left to his right to avoid some of the tacklers. And we all thought it was a touchdown. And no, there's only a minute left. How are they going to fix this? And how are they going to, somehow rally to get back into this game? He steps out of bounds. The Dolphins have a couple penalties. Then they have a couple sacks, and then that's the end of the game.
You talked about the Miami and the big plays. You had a different take on the big plays, and I think there were 5 over 20, but there were a lot about 17, 18 yards too.
Well, if you take out just the overall run plays that Achane had, the big touchdown, we were watching a lot of outside outbreaking routes that Vrabel talked about in his post-game press conference. They're gonna play deep. They're weak at cornerback. They have a bunch of injuries, so they're gonna give up all the stuff in front of them. They did not want to give up any big plays over their head because they have so much speed, the Dolphins do, and they didn't want. That's the one thing that we used to call anything but big plays over our head. So they gave up the sail routes, the 7 routes that Vrabel talked about. They gave those up. He said they gave up a little bit more than they wanted to, but still, in the end, it worked.
All right, it's been an emotional year for Rhamondre Stevenson. Last week, 7 attempts, 15 yards rushing. Just really, and everyone's kind of saying, get Henderson in there, get Henderson in there. Today, he comes up with 11 rushes for 54 yards, 5 receptions for 88 yards. The big one on the 3rd and 3 of the New England 24 changed the momentum. The Pats were down 20-15, a 55-yard screen, a great connection with Drake Maye.
Yeah, that was huge. And, think about Stevenson. The Patriots draft Travion Henderson. He has this unbelievable camp, and everybody's just talking about him left and right, and the dude hasn't played a regular season game yet. I think they forget how good Rhamondre Stevenson is. He's a great back. He's underrated as a pass catcher. You can obviously see that was a very, as far as degree of difficulty, over his shoulder, catching it in stride, and then having the ability to run upfield, and especially at a time where You needed somebody to make a play. Sometimes it is as simple as that. Will somebody make a play? Drake Maye started it by jumping up into the pocket, and then Stevenson ends it with catching it in stride and getting positive yardage.
You know, it's been a tough year. His dad passed away in March suddenly at the age of 53, 54. He has a bracelet. He told me he has a bracelet on that has his dad's ashes in it. So it meant a lot for him to be able to come out and get that job done. We've got less than a minute here. Just a quick 20-second thought on Borregales and the special teams.
Listen, the kicking has to be a weapon. You have to be able to rely on them. A lot of these games in the NFL come down to one possession, field position. Dallas actually tied the game against the New York Giants on a 64-yard field goal. Then they hit a 46-yarder in overtime. That's the game. You cross midfield. Kickers have been winning games for their teams because of the way how strong their legs are.
Missing the landing zone.
Mental breakdowns can't do it.
10-second thought, Pittsburgh next week.
I think the Patriots have a really good shot. The Steelers are not a good team. They can't stop the run at all, and Rodgers can't run anywhere.
All right, more Stevenson, more Gibson, more Henderson.
More of the same, more cowbell.
Christian, always a pleasure.
Yeah, you too, buddy.